What is fitness? Now, for you, the viewer, a lot of individuals, when they engage with fitness or their first inclination of what fitness is, comes from what they see on social media or on TV or from past experiences. If you never engaged with physical movement in a extraneous way in the beginning aspects of your life, then you might think that fitness is what you see going on in the gym, what you see going on in certain establishments. But I want to begin to change your understanding of fitness to something a lot more broader. And so beginning from first principles is a great way in order to do such a thing. So what a lot of individuals see when they begin to engage with fitness in modern society is they're seeing fitness from a box. So a lot of individuals, they confuse fitness with business. And a lot of times, especially here in the West, our viewpoints and our perspective isn't predicated on the fundamentals of things. It's predicated on the external viewpoint of things. And so a lot of times people think that, well, for me to do fitness, I have to go to a certain place, I have to do a certain thing, or I have to spend or get something in order to engage with my fitness, in order to get my fitness in. But this isn't necessarily what fitness is. So a lot of times what you want to do when you begin to engage with something is you want to take a step back and see, okay, what is this thing? Why am I viewing things this way? Where does this come from? So beginning to ask questions will help a lot of individuals out. And the reason for this episode and the reason for beginning from first principles is that there's so many individuals that they never begin to go on a venture of development. They never begin to go on a journey of progress because they do not believe that they have the resources, the knowledge, or the time in order to do such a thing. But you do have the time and you do have the understanding, but a lot of times you just have to shift from what you are viewing things and what you have viewed things to something of what is really going on. So this is the problem with ideologies, certain belief systems, and only predicating your understanding off of the past. Because when you only predicate things off of certain narrow points and angles, then you miss the broader sphere of what something is. So a lot of times this is what happens when individuals, where they don't get a lot of experience or when they don't have a lot of knowledge. This makes it easier for you to be influenced by others, because others with the greater understandings, what will happen is they will begin to influence you to do certain things. So this is what's going on in social media. So on social media, a lot of times individuals that don't have a great understanding of fitness, what will happen is that they'll go to individuals who they believe have greater understandings and they'll take their word for it. And the problem with this is that when you take someone's word for something, you don't really get is what this person is doing and telling me, is this really helping me in my current situation? So a lot of times people will go to what a lot of people value in modern society. A lot of people in modern society value power, money, and status. And a lot of times when people want certain things, they go to the people who are at or in the top of their fields. And so when you go to someone who's reached mastery, this is very good because they can give you a lot of insight. But the problem sometimes is that that person is at such a high level that they're unable to reach you at where you're at. And so a lot of individuals, they think that, okay, this person online, they're doing this fitness thing and they're doing it this way and in this manner. And so this is how I think I should do fitness. And a lot of people might view that and be like, man, I can't do fitness this way. I can't do those movements. I can't look like this chick. I don't have the resources or the time in order to do this. And so they think, well, I can't do fitness then. There's no point. There's no reason for me even trying. And the problem with this is that it robs the person of the autonomy and the power and the self-sovereignty in order to take things and matters into their own hands. And so in this first key and in this entire episode, what we will be doing is we will be giving you that power and that self-autonomy in order for you to spark that own change. You're not going to need another person to tell you what to do, or you aren't going to need another person to give you profound insight. But all you'll need is you'll just need the willingness in order to step forward. That is all. And it's not going to take a lot of energy, time, money, or resources. It's just going to have that point where you're like, you know what? Enough is enough. Let's go. Let's do this. And so what is fitness? Well, fitness is a mechanism. Fitness is a concept. Fitness is a way for humans to develop and progress themselves. In order to understand this, you must go back to the beginning of human civilization, and even beforehand, when we as humans were nothing but monkeys swinging in trees. What did we as humans use fitness for? Well, fitness is just capability and ability, and the ability to do such things over a certain duration of time. And if you as a human being did not have a high capacity for capability and ability within the physical sphere, then unfortunately you would fall prey to predators, you would fall prey to natural disasters, or you might fall prey to Mother Earth. And so, or you might fall prey to diseases, you might not be able to collect resources, and it would be very hard for you to survive in the harsh realities of nature. And so if you had a low capacity and ability of fitness in the past, then what will happen is that you wouldn't really be able to survive very long. And so society, in our brilliance as humans, we have constructed society in the modern times in such a way that you don't need a high capacity and ability for physical fitness in order to survive, because society has created a bubble for humans to sustain themselves. But in the past, in ancient times, it wasn't like this. And so as we go forward in human history and understanding what fitness is, then we get to the time where, well, humans needed to protect themselves. Well, we can survive in nature, and we have the ability and capacity in order to do things over long bouts of time. But now we need technique. We need efficiency. We need movement at high levels in different types of movement. Why? Well, yes, you can run from predators, but let's say you can't run from a predator anymore. Well, what's next? What are you going to do? What do you need fitness for? And this led to the creation of martial arts, because now the human has to protect itself. And what is it protecting itself from? It's protecting itself from other animals. It's protecting itself from even other humans. And so this is what led to martial arts. But also there's a healing component to it as well. Because when you understand what fitness is, then you're able to grasp that, oh, movement is medicine within reason. And so when you move, you're getting the blood to pump in other areas of the body that if you were just in stagnation, that blood flow and those nutrients wouldn't be able to get to. You're able to relax the muscle tissues. You're able to spark the nervous system. You're able to generate and build and embed new pathways. If you watch fighters or anyone who's very proficient in a martial art, what they're doing is they're programming their subconscious mind, they're programming their nervous system in order to do specific movements at an extremely high level. And you can do this when you truly understand what fitness is, and you understand all the different aspects of fitness, and you understand the spheres of fitness. Right now we're starting at first principles, but over time I'll give you guys a little bit more of the sauce. But when you understand these things, then you're able to understand that everything is movement. Everything is fitness. And so right now I'm talking on the microphone. This is movement. My heart is beating. This is movement. The air is flowing. This is movement. This is fitness. This is something's ability and capacity to do something over a set duration of time. So once you understand this, then you can sit back and you go, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I don't just have to go to this place to do fitness. I can do fitness anywhere. The entire earth is a gym. It is a playground. It is something in a place for you to experience things, to learn how to maximize your physical survival, and not just your physical survival, but also you can protect yourself. Now, going back to past for humans, then we began to dive into, this led to martial arts, this led to militaries, this led to humans obviously in human nature, in our pride and our selfishness, this led to us fighting each other and engaging in wars. And you need fitness to do this, because you need to be able to go through long bouts of strenuous activity if you are fighting and killing each other. But over time, after a lot of the more major wars, when ancient Greece and ancient Rome established themselves, this led to the creation of games, and this led to the need for performance. And so fitness started with survival, then it shifted to protection, and then it shifted to performance. So survival, protection, performance. That was kind of the keys for why we as humans created fitness. But moving forward, now in modern times, this kind of still is very equitable to everyday people, but a lot of individuals, they think fitness in the modern sphere is based off of appearance. So in modern society, everyone believes that fitness is predicated off of aesthetic, is predicated off of the outer shell of the body, is predicated off of how people's muscle tissue has formulated itself over the skeletal system, but it doesn't have any qualms about what's going on internally, what's going on with the vital organs, what's going on with the brain, what's going on with the inner chemicals, what's going on with the blood, how diluted or undiluted, how toxified or untoxified. Most individuals don't give two qualms about this. But for you, the individual, understanding what fitness is will aid you in understanding when you go into the gym environment what you are seeing. Because most individuals, when they go into the gym, they have no idea what's going on. Some of them have previous inclinations of what's going on. They've gone through exercise, or they know what exercising is. You don't need a doctor or a exercise physiologist to explain this to you. But a lot of individuals, when they go into environments, they believe that this is what they should be doing. And a lot of times when you begin to understand what fitness is, then you'll take a step back and you say, okay, now I understand what's going on in the modern aspect and what modern people are doing with fitness. But if you go from first principles, from what fitness is, then you go through the line and then you come to present day, then you're able to step back and you say, oh, now I get it. The modern fitness industry isn't predicated on survival, protection, and performance. It's predicated off of aesthetic. And when you understand this, this is what most people are buying money and spending money and giving the resources for. Because what they want is they want to look as good as possible on the outer shell. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with maximizing your physical attractiveness and your beauty and your floraciousness and your attractivity. But the underlying detrimental effect is that it might be causing damage to the internal aspects of your body. And so when you realize this, then you're able to go into environments and you say, okay, I know what the modern aspect of what fitness is showcasing in modern society, because society values looks, power, money, and status. But is this actually going to be good for me and lead to my long-term success? And so in a previous episode, I said that so you are, as a human being, you are a 5-dimensional being. And so understanding fitness is a 5-dimensional concept when you truly understand what fitness is. Because you don't just have the physical sphere, you have the mental sphere, and then you have the spiritual sphere of existence and of being. Everything at its core is spiritual. So everything is spiritual and everything is mind. And to a degree, everything is physical. So when you begin to engage with fitness, it's like a tesseract. So you have the physical sphere of fitness, and there's 4 realms within that. But then you have the mental sphere of fitness, because again, starting from first principles, what is fitness? Fitness is one's capacity and ability to do something over a set duration of time. So this can just be your physical ability to run, walk, jump, do push-ups, do running, back swimming, bicycling, but also how long can you think? How long can you talk? How long can you explain concepts? Because this gray matter in between your skull, this is also a physical aspect of your body. And so there's movement always is occurring. There's blood always flowing throughout the body. Blood flows into the brain. The nervous system, your CNS, goes from the brain down the spinal column and then out to the other aspects of the body. And then it attaches to the peripheral nervous system. So in essence, even the brain, mind is movement. So there is a fitness aspect attached to your mental functions. So how long can you think? What is your abilities? Do you have photographic memory? Do you have the ability to explain extremely in-depth concept? Do you have the ability to read for long bouts of time? And so what's your capacity? So now, then this goes to the spiritual sphere. So now you've gone physical, mental, spiritual. And so when you get to the spiritual sphere, now it's, okay, what is your will? What is your determination? What is your character? What is your mental, what is how tough are you? How much can you handle something? So now you've transcended, boom, 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 up. But now each is connected because everything is connected, especially if you study string theory. And then you're able to interchange each and then outlude from there. So now you've then created something that's far more beneficial for you. And fitness is a tool for us humans to use. This is why the collective created, I'm going to save that. We're going to go into key number 2. I was beginning to segue into key number 2. Who created fitness? Well, the genome, God, everything created the need for fitness so that beings, organisms, could have the capacity and ability to improve themselves. So when you understand what fitness is, then you'll understand who created fitness. So there isn't one single person that created the entire sphere of fitness. Yes, you had individuals that gave a lot of time and attention to fitness, but it was the collective, the organism of human consciousness, the human will to survive, that led to this mechanism being created. So whenever there was a need for humans to progress, fitness is self-development. Fitness is self-help. Fitness is people trying to improve themselves. So when you get this, then you understand that, oh, fitness is just us as humans trying to work and better ourselves and evolve. Fitness is the evolution of us as humans, the species, because each iteration of fitness continues to grow and progress. Now, in the modern understanding of fitness, you must understand that the way society is structured, society doesn't, I explained in the episode, all of the knowledge, resources, and understanding is at the top of society. And for you, the individual, a lot of humans, they fall in the middle or low points of society, the masses. It is what it is. It's sad, but this is why I'm creating these videos, so that this understanding, this insight, and this understanding can be given to you, so you can begin to work and improve yourselves. There's something called eugenics, where humans are selecting the best traits and DNA qualities, and then having their children based off of that at the top of society. So it's getting more and more, and the aspects of society is stringing more and more, so that it's almost creating a split. And so there needs to be a great equalizer. And the great equalizer is understanding, because all humans are equal at our core, and there needs to be equal opportunity. And equal opportunity only comes when the same opportunity is provided to each person. But if certain individuals are given the opportunity of knowledge, resources, power, and status, and other individuals are not, then are things really equal? It is not. And so knowledge is extremely powerful. So when you understand what fitness is, and you're understanding who created fitness, then you're able to sit back and be like, okay, cool. I need to start working on myself, because not only are you working on improving